welcome back to Varsity Viewpoint, episode number 3. I'm Mr. Book, joined as always by Dane and Logan. And this week, we're joined by two members of the class of 2029.
Julian Trujillo, and I'm Jayden Trujillo.
All right, welcome, boys. We're going to talk some CM sports. We're going to talk some college sports, professional sports, and I've got a special question for these fellas that I didn't put on the show notes, so I can't wait to see their reaction to that. All right, Dane, you want to lead us off to football?
Yeah, we had our homecoming game this week. Played against Waterloo. About went as expected, I think.
Yeah, that was a rough one. I think there are a couple positives out of that game, though. We did not give up a single point in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad, but we're at the point in the season where we kind of just have to look for positives like that, and that's just small wins.
Mm-hmm.
But the first half was not pretty.
Not really.
No, I was not paying very much attention to the game, at least during the first half, because me and Dane were running around. But
You'll see that.
You'll see those videos soon.
Yeah, we have a lot of content.
A lot of random content. But from the times that I was paying attention, it was we were moving the ball. A few times there was a very good offensive drive, I know, that ended on a fourth down. But I mean, we were getting into their territory every single drive. What felt like every single drive, and then it would just kind of get slower. Once we get into those long thirds, it was kind of tough.
It was rough. They have a 6'10" guy that plays tight end / defensive end, Alex Stell. So he would just post up in the end zone, and he just kind of went up and got it. We had a 5'10" guy guarding him. So I mean, what are you going to do there?
Yeah, I think he only had one. From what I remember, I think he only had one. But having a weapon like that just opens up the entire offense.
Yeah, and they ran the ball well. They passed the ball well. They kind of did everything well. That's what Waterloo does. They're not the biggest, baddest team on the block, but they don't make mistakes, and that's why they're going to be battling for a conference championship this week.
Yeah, and with that, now, because Highland beat Triad by how much?
It was a last-second touchdown. Like a minute and a half left.
Yeah,
or something.
like barely.
One on interception.
I mean, they beat them by one score, so that.
So they've all beat each other because Triad beat Waterloo pretty bad earlier in the year, like 31-7, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so. So that put them all at a three-way tie at the top, and now it's really a toss-up between those three because those are all three really good teams.
They're all going to take care of business this week because Triad plays CM, I believe. Waterloo plays Mascoutah, and Highland plays Jerseyville. So I think those are all three going to be easy wins for them, and they're going to have a three-way tie, which is wild. I don't think we've had a three-way tie in football in a long time.
So what happens there?
Points.
They're all conference champs.
Oh, I thought they went off points.
They share it.
That happened in
That would-
basketball last year.
Actually,
Yeah,
there was a
that's
three-way tie in wrestling last year too, with Waterloo, Triad, and CM.
That's
Really
strange.
No, I feel like that would suck to have to share your conference title with another team.
At least play for
Two
it.
teams.
I think it would suck even more to tie and then lose based off total points scored. What if you're like a really good defensive team?
Yeah, that's true.
Point differential.
Differential
That should be the
Point
tiebreaker.
differential should be the tiebreaker.
That would be
But,
cool.
with that, I mean, obviously in the conference, it kind of just switches up. But with that, soccer is at Mascoutah tonight.
Yeah,
Who'd they
5:45 kickoff, I believe. for
5:45 kickoff for JV or for varsity?
JV. I don't know if they list JV or varsity.
I think
it's varsity. 5:45, 4 o'clock for.
Normally it's just
4:15 or
JV plays and then they.
Yeah, I
they
feel
like
like that's
something.
what.
Max
Varsity
Preps
just
has it at
follows.
5:45.
Yeah. So, I mean, they had won a 5-6, and their only loss was to Granite City, I believe.
Yeah, double overtime.
Yeah. Double OT. That's.
I still don't get overtime rules in soccer. I thought it was sudden death. and
Well,
then-
that's what I thought it
That's what I
was.
thought. But it only goes for a certain amount of
Well,
time.
It's not sudden death because.
Didn't you guys used to play soccer?
Yeah, I think
you'd
it's
have-
after 3 overtimes, you go into PKs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they have like added time of like 5 minutes per or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
then after the third one, it's PKs.
Because I remember I was talking to Mills one time and he goes, "We won I think it said 6-4 in overtime." I was like, I thought it was
Yeah,
just
I thought it would
one
be
goal
something
and then
you
it's
score,
over.
yeah.
I didn't know you could score 2 goals in
I
overtime.
know they have at least multiple. They have a half for each overtime.
Like, how are you going to go 90
Yeah.
minutes and tie, but then dominate them in 5 minutes of overtime?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
make
I mean,
sense.
I guess, yeah, momentum there is just like whoever goes into that
No.
first half.
So they did win the 5 out of the 6, which, like the last couple of times we've mentioned, they're getting hotter.
Yeah.
They did lose the last 2. They lost 9-0 to Columbia, who is ranked number 1 in Class 1A, I believe, for soccer. They're
Yeah.
also like 15th overall in the state, regardless of size. So it was a good team. CM sat all of their varsity players and starters to prepare for Triad.
Yeah.
We got closer, 2-0.
It was
I mean,
really a really
it
close
was-
game.
Yeah, from what I saw and like what I've heard, it was really 1-0, and then they got a very late penalty
Yeah.
kick off of, I want to say it was Mills,
Mills trucked
which, yeah, he trucked the kid, but he did get ball. So
Mm.
it technically
Yeah.
wasn't a penalty, but the way Mills hit him, it was a penalty.
Well, they scored like the first minute of the game.
yeah.
Like I was getting my popcorn still, and I look up and they scored. It was 1-0, and
they
then
just held it the whole
and
time.
it was really fun. It was a fun game to watch, and then they had that PK like Logan said, like
Yeah.
not but 5 minutes left in the game. I'm pretty sure.
I'm telling you, we called that last week. They're playing well. I think they're going to do well in the regionals. I'm excited. But this is the last game of the regular season tonight at Muscuda.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know it was the last game of the
Yeah,
season.
yeah, last one. Then they're
So
going to have
when's
regionals.
regionals?
When's regionals?
I don't have a date for regionals. I was just looking on Max Preps, didn't see it, and I didn't get to talk to the soccer player today about it.
Okay.
But I would assume next week.
Yeah, I feel
sometime
like
soon,
usually-
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what else? We got volleyball. So they have lost 3 straight. So they were 13-7 last time we talked about them. They're 13-10 now.
That's still good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still above
still
500. We
yeah.
take that. I did want to shout out a couple of the volleyball players. They can actually have a get-right game this Saturday against Litchfield, who's ranked about 100 spots below us. Bella Thien is leading the team in kills and blocks, and Marissa Perez leads the team in digs per set. Found those stats on Max Preps as well, so good job, ladies.
Yeah.
And Dane, I want you to introduce this part since this is your new segment to the
Okay,
show.
so we got a new segment. You guys in chat can play along. It's called Door 1 or Door 2. So I'll come up with a question that you could walk through Door 1 and have one option, or Door 2 and have another option. It's not going to be an easy question. So
kind of like a would you rather that we do every Wednesday
yes,
on the announcements.
yes. So my what's it called? Inaugural question, I guess.
Yeah.
The first question was Door 1, your favorite sports team, whether it's whatever team you want to imagine in your head, makes the playoffs, or here,
No.
win a championship every 18 years, but is barely above 500 in all those years, or they make the playoffs. Door 2, they make the playoffs 9 of every 10 years, but never win a championship.
I guess I'll go first. This is tough for me because my favorite sports team wins a championship once every 108 years, and they don't make the playoffs in between either. So I'm going to say I want the championship
Yeah.
because they're few and far between with the teams I like. That's what I want. Rings are all that matters, right? That's what I've been taught.
I mean, I've slept on it because I came up with this question. Well, actually, my dad came up with the question, but I think the championship's more important. Chase Butler says championship's more important too in the chat.
I mean, I'd have to agree. If you're making the playoffs, that's great, and you're kind of like hot and on that run, but you're not really getting to the end goal, which is everyone wants that championship, and I think if you're getting championships, that's what counts.
I do have a different answer if I'm an owner. If I'm an owner, I absolutely want to make the playoffs all the
With that
time.
money.
I don't care about championships at all because I own the team. Who's going to fire me? If I'm a
Right.
coach, you got to win the championship.
Yeah.
You-
But I'm all about the money
You
if
got
I'm the
that
owner.
St. Louis Cardinals mentality over here.
I think it just
Hey,
depends on what
that's why
side's
they're,
around too.
they're like the third richest owner in baseball
Yeah,
too,
I'm-
right?
They also just have
They
the
also
biggest company.
Don't
Yeah.
have, yeah, that's true, but they
It's
also
like
don't
saying-
have a good team,
it's
and they
like
also
saying the
don't
Broncos
put the
have the
money into
richest-
the team either.
True.
Right.
No, as every single one of my teams have sucked for quite a while and haven't been to a championship game. in quite a while, other than like the Blues, I guess maybe. But I feel like door one's a pretty easy option there. I feel like you being able to see that championship every once in a while would be nice, rather than I'm a Bills fan. I watch them go to the East AFC Championship every year
Lose to
and
the
then lose.
Chiefs.
That would
Lose to the
suck.
Chiefs
It
every
sucks
year.
every time.
Exactly.
I'm not even a Bills fan, and it sucks for me.
Jayden, what door are you picking?
I'm going to go door one because, like I said, my favorite baseball team, they don't win a whole lot. The last time they won the World Series was 2016, and going to the parade was awesome. I'd rather...
Oh, time out. You're a Cubs fan too?
Yeah.
Let's
You're
go.
good fit- Yes.
Let's go.
I went to the 2016 parade. It was sick. It was so awesome. So I'd rather take a championship and go experience that and watch the parades than
But
door two.
I don't feel like that's for everybody though. Like
No.
you and I are conditioned
Right.
to 500 teams or below 500 teams, unfortunately. Not the average fan can't go through that year in and year out. Everybody here in St. Louis is so used to playoff baseball, being a good winning team. They may not go all the way all the time. It's been a long time. 2011 was not just the other day, you know.
10 years.
But
when I was born.
I don't think Cardinal fans could do it.
No.
Whoa.
Like,
No. Well, I can say I'm fortunate enough. I really care about two sports the most, NFL and MLB. And obviously the Titans have never won a championship, but they've had some recent success. I've been to a couple playoff games now, and it's a really good experience. I've never seen my team win a playoff game. I've been to 3 playoff games and I'm 0-3.
Maybe you're the
that
problem.
was Ravens wild card, Bengals divisional. We're the number 1 seed. We had it set up for us that year, and then AFC Championship in Kansas City. So cold.
Yeah.
Dane cried in the seats in the fourth quarter of that game. But no, I feel like it would be really, really hard because I'm 17. So that would mean if I chose door one that I would never, my team has not made a playoff in my entire life.
so you chose door one because you know they're going to win this year.
Yeah, exactly, right? Titans are going to win the Super Bowl now?
It's crazy. Put some money on the Titans now. You just called it.
Don't do that.
Do that.
I would not
No.
listen to Dane.
We started this another like small segment.
Shout out Logan's dad for this. by the
Yeah,
way. Thanks
my
for
dad like called us out after last week's episode because we started our MVC basketball rankings and then just proceeded to dog on Jerseyville for like 5-10 minutes and just didn't finish it. We just kept going on Jerseyville, and okay, granted, we are from Bethalto. We are kind of raised up to not be the biggest Jerseyville fans.
Yeah, so we're not jumping into number
Yeah.
5 here. We're still at number 6. It's still Jerseyville.
Yeah, but like it felt kind of disrespectful in a little bit to just only say, yeah, Jerseyville's gonna finish left. On to the next thing. So we're gonna start. We all agreed Jersey number 6. So I'm gonna ask, what do you guys think is number 5?
I want to ask Jayden and Julian, do you guys have any input on this for high school basketball? Who you think is going to finish at the bottom?
Ooh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Triad's normally pretty good.
To finish at the bottom?
No, not to finish at the bottom.
Yeah.
the
Oh, he's
top.
eliminating us.
Oh, he's just going
I'm
number
gonna
1.
eliminate
Okay.
some here. I don't really know. I don't really know a whole lot about Waterloo basketball, so I don't really know.
So they're
How well
they're
they
missing
play.
4 starters from last year,
They,
but the one that they kept is 6'10".
Yeah,
They'll
they
see.
kept
just
Stell.
dominates in the post.
He
But I
He's
don't
not
know.
even like a dominant post
I was
player.
gonna say, but
really.
I don't know
he's
that one
kind of
player-
similar to Sam.
What's Mascuda got this year? Didn't their
Let's
big
see.
guy graduate?
Mascuda's big guy Miles Endicott graduated.
Miles graduated, but I want to say they only
One of their
lost
guards
one
did as
other.
well.
I could
Their
see.
point guard.
Wyatt?
That kid that hit that one shot.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
could
his name.
see-
I think the point guard and Miles were the 2 that graduated.
They only
They-
had 2 starters
and
anyway.
then they haven't really. I don't know who they're going to replace Miles with,
Yeah.
but their point guard is an incoming freshman.
Yeah.
He is a dog.
No,
I could see Waterloo finishing 5th.
That's where I've got.
Just
that's what
kinda-
I would
and
say
then-
as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
The way
Yeah.
we're kind of talking, I feel like
And one
Waterloo
man,
was a good choice.
and one man's not gonna dominate the game. Like if you figure out how to guard him and like kind of shut him down for the game, he's not gonna dominate very much. So I could see them finishing 5th.
No,
Yeah,
with,
that's exactly what I
with-
have as Waterloo
Yeah.
5th.
with
Yes.
Waterloo, I think Stell, he can push them pretty far. into games, but at some point they will be kind of locked up. I feel like in maybe the first game of the year, people might struggle guarding him because he can score really well around the basket. And I'll be 100% honest, he's got a deadly mid-range jumper.
You just have to throw bodies at him.
But he can hit it from anywhere in the midfield. But if you hit him over and over in the midfield, in the mid-range, sorry. But if you're hitting him over and over,
Yeah.
I feel like he'll get frustrated. He gets into foul trouble quite a bit. So
He does.
Yeah.
So fourth, I'm going to say a team that is probably in a lot of people's top two. I've got Highland at fourth. They're going to be missing their shooting guard last year that set the school record in threes, set the conference record in threes. It's really, really high up there as far as three-pointers in a career for anybody in the state of Illinois. So
yeah,
thank goodness that guy's gone.
Yeah.
They lost quite a bit of seniors, but they're always good. They're always big.
Yes.
But I have a feeling this is a really, really good year for this conference. And even though they're in fourth, I think it's going to be a battle when we play them.
Highland was always, I think, our best JV game, which is important preseason because those best JV players are going to be maybe not the starters, but the sixth man, the guys coming off the bench, making sure the runs don't happen.
Yeah.
And Highland was always a really, really fun JV game to play because they're competitive, they're big.
Yes.
Like, for some reason, Highland just breeds 6'3" guys, and
They
when
do.
we don't. So,
Yes.
me, I'm probably 5'10", if that. And, that height advantage is big in JV
I did
games.
watch that JV game on a mega night here. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
huge for JV.
That's
I know one thing about Highland is they got some size and they can shoot the ball well too.
yes.
They always have that one or two guys where they just set screens and let them come off them and just shoot the ball.
yeah.
If you go under, they're gonna shoot. If you go over, they're gonna drive. So
In that
Where do you think you have?
in that
four?
4 and 3 spot, I think are very interchangeable between us and Highland
Yeah.
because
See that?
it's their varsity team after losing, how do you say his Otzmeyer?
Yeah.
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 After losing him, he was like taking up a lot of defenses. But they have a very similar team to us right now. They have their bigs aren't huge this year. Yes, they're bigger JV wise, but I know a few of them. I think their tallest guy right now is 6'5". But that's obviously still
That makes
big.
me feel great
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
about matching up with them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I know I'll give a shout out to Braxton from Highland. I played ball hog with him growing up. He's a dog. He can get to the basket. He can shoot, and that's kind of where that I could see the switch of between us and Highland. It's right now we're gonna be I feel like we'll be a very shooting heavy team because we don't have as many bigs. Obviously, we don't have
Right.
Sam. We don't have Hodge to kind of dominate that center.
Yeah.
So I feel like we'll be a faster team than we have been in the past, but at the
sure.
same time, we're gonna look away from the bigs as much because now all of our bigs, I think we could end up being the best shooting team in the MVC.
Don't
Just-
sleep on Riley Lamb, man.
No, Riley can
He's
shoot.
a stud.
Be a-
Yeah, I don't want to let
scrappy.
that secret out
Yeah.
just yet. MVC's going to find out about Riley Lamb this
Yeah.
year.
Just
No.
be a scrappy team on defense and shoot the ball and win some games.
Yeah.
Love being
For sure.
scrappy.
So
Yeah,
that's where
I had us at
Yeah.
3 as well. I put Highland at 4. I can't not have us in the top 3. I've been saying the whole time, top half of conference is my goal. So I've got CM at 3. Dane, what do you think about the 3 and 4 spots?
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with Logan. I think we're really interchangeable, but it just comes down to who performs better on a certain night.
Yeah.
And you only get how many conference games? 10.
10.
So if you execute on conference nights, it's
I think honestly the top 4 are all closer than they've been in past
For sure.
years, but there's just a little something extra on the other 2 teams. I have Mascuda at 2. They were the conference champs last year, but with Miles gone, they're going to have to go more to McCoo the whole time. And I mean, he is a very capable guard. And then the new freshman point guard, I'm telling you, he's so good. I got to watch him over the summer, but they don't have the size that they had before. They do have one really tall guy, but
Yeah.
not a strong post player. Not the strongest I've ever seen. So I've got them at 2 with Triad at 1 because Triad didn't really lose a ton of players, especially off their starting lineup. I know they've
think
got
they lost
Hasquin
one.
and Thompson, and they've got Stewart
Drew
and
Winslow.
Drew Winslow, of
Drew
course,
Winslow.
who's just 6'6" and just dominant.
He's
Stud.
his
a
best
think they
sport
lost-
isn't even
They
basketball.
lost
Yeah.
Landon.
I was
What did you
gonna
say his name was? Zodniak,
Yeah,
and then I think Droit. I think those are the two.
I
they
think
lost.
Droy as well. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they only lost 2 of their rotation players,
Yeah.
which, I mean, Winslow and Thompson, those 2 are just they're a 1-2 punch. They get all the way through on their screens. They run their pick and roll is insane. So it's hard to stop.
Thompson's a
I've-
sniper too.
Yeah.
He's such a good shooter.
I've played with Tyler Thompson. I played against him since as early as I can remember my basketball career, and he's always been really tough. And he's always been able to shoot. He's always been able to drive, and he shot up in height too. He's a big guy now. So
Yeah, and I know they are going to remember that DJ Dutton shot. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
want to make
Yeah.
us.
Oh, yeah.
pay
They're
for
gonna
that.
they're
Chase-
gonna come into our house with
Chase in the
different-
chat says Triad got a new guy this year. He good.
He
So
good.
Oh yikes!
he good.
He
Well,
good.
I can't wait to have to watch a bunch of film with Triad. They're gonna drive me crazy. I know I'm gonna have some late nights watching them trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
That's who I would pick.
Yeah, I think Triad comes out on top this year.
I think Muscuta's gonna win the conference. I think that Muscuta is the hardest place to play in the conference. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's an incredible atmosphere. Their student section always brings it.
That
The
huge video board
nightmares.
is awesome
The
too.
video board is
I have-
super cool. The intro is cool. It's just it feels.
Have you guys ever been to Muscuda High School?
No.
Oh
no.
my
Oh man, they're
It's-
sponsored by Jordan. They've got
I
this
can-
sweet video board.
It
Their
feels
MassCom program
like a
is
college
sick.
basketball
Can't wait
game.
next year. I don't know
And-
if
Yeah.
we go there or not.
Even if I was just sitting on the bench, that game was really, like, the atmosphere was really cool to be a part of. Even if we got beat, and when I did get in the game, garbage time, even that student section was still, hey, number 2, they're talking
They
the
were
whole
going crazy.
game and they're into it. So
They had a
it's-
lot to talk about last year too, because we did not have Adam. I think was Hodge still hurt at that point,
Yeah, Hodge was out.
Yes, he was
and
out.
DJ possibly. He might have played that.
DJ
I
played,
think
but
DJ
he
played,
was,
he was hurt
one.
though.
Yeah, we lost by 30.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it wasn't that close.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, that was not a good one.
No, last time I played in Muscuta's gym was sophomore year. I was actually out because I had whiplash from a Hodge screen, and
Big boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I knew like 2 or 3 people from Muscuta from like summer basketball and stuff. And when I tell you I was getting screamed at while sitting behind the bench,
Yeah.
it sounds like we're being hostile about it. It's so loud that it's hard not to
Oh, yeah.
like understand that everything feels like it's directed at you.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be talking about someone entirely different, but it feels like they're literally in your ears.
Feels like it's on top of you.
Yeah.
One last thing about MVC basketball before we move on to our interview with Julian and Jayden. There are 2 games this year on Mega Nights where the main event is going to be girls basketball instead of boys basketball.
Okay.
That includes the home game against Jerseyville and against Highland. What do we think about that?
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah.
2 great games to go watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I enjoy it. I know that we're normally like boys basketball, Jerseyville and CM is like the thing to watch. But I don't mind giving up the peak time slot to the girls. We have a really good program, and they deserve to have people stay and wait and watch them.
oh yeah.
And I'm kind of excited that we get to watch the whole
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so like being able to actually watch a girls basketball game before our games was always weird because you'd have to leave and then you'd come
Uh-huh.
back and you'd be like, okay, did we win or lose? And then you have to go out right after that. And especially with those 2 games, I feel like the atmosphere is already going to be kind of high because us playing Jerseyville, like we said, we think Jerseyville's going to have a down year.
And
If we
Highland is the next best girls program in,
Yeah.
Yes.
in the
Oh, yeah.
conference.
So-
Highland and CM. for
So
sure,
if,
one, too.
as a player myself, my goal is set the atmosphere during our games so they can have a great one, just like they did for us last year.
Yeah.
Because our girls teams, obviously, they've always been great. They went to state when I was a freshman. They came in 4th, and I mean, new coach, new everything. They need to have that culture, and I think it's going to continue to just be a great program.
Well, shout out to girls. I don't want to open a new can of worms with this, but like I think that's the Caitlin Clark effect. So, so good for them. All right, interview time, boys.
All right.
Tell us about yourself, Julian. You can go first.
All right. So I'm Julian Trujillo, class of 2029, 8th grader at Trimpe.
What sports do you play?
I play baseball, football, and basketball.
Dang, baseball, football, and basketball. And then Jayden, what about you?
I'm Jayden Trujillo. I'm a class of 2029, 8th grader at Trempe, and I play basketball, baseball, and football as well. But sadly, no football this year because they moved the season to spring instead of fall for fall baseball. But we'll get back at football in high school for sure.
Yeah, I think the kids that, baseball is your main sport,
Yes.
you're going to lose out on football there, and that's going to be felt for a few years at
Oh,
the
yes.
junior high level.
Yes.
Okay, what is your main sport?
Main sport is baseball.
My main sport is baseball as well.
What position do you guys play?
I play short, pitcher, and I can play the outfield too.
I'm kind of a utility guy all around. I like to catch a lot, but I don't pitch very much because of how much I catch, but I can play the corners, infield, outfield. I'm a big utility guy, so.
So I actually knew that because I spoke to someone today that told me he coached a 5th grade kickball team against you guys when you were in 4th grade. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And now this, don't quote me on this, but I think you may be the only 4th grade team to ever beat the 5th graders.
I think.
And Mr. Jarman told me that normally he would be super upset about losing, but all he could do was tip his cap because every time a ball was kicked, one of you two was catching it, no matter where it was.
Oh, yes.
Hey, can I say something about
Yeah.
that? My 4th grade team beat the 5th graders when we were in school, and the 5th graders, I still am mad about this. The 5th graders accused our teacher of cheating and adding points, and we beat them fair and square. We beat, and it wasn't even like we beat them by 1. We beat them by like 8.
Logan has something to say about this.
Don't even say we cheated because you know we didn't.
This was my 5th grade year.
Yes, and
We
they took our
didn't play
kickball.
the 4th graders. They took it away because 4th grade teams were accusing
You're
each
right.
other of cheating.
You are right.
I never got to play the
You're-
teachers because my
He's right.
class.
Oh, so you didn't get to go to the
He's
championship?
right.
They
We
played
beat-
in their championship.
And beat them by like 8 runs, points, whatever you want to call it. And they were adding points.
Yeah.
The
so-
teacher was
See
counting.
what you started, Jarman? I knew bringing this up wasn't good.
Oh.
It was my 8th grade year, and we didn't get to do
We
any
had-
Your
other.
5th grade year.
So-
Our 5th grade year.
And we were going to beat the 5th graders.
Yeah,
I
we
have
were-
no doubt in my mind about that.
Me,
mean-
Kevin, and Drew.
Yeah,
All right,
no.
so I've got a couple more questions for you guys before we move on. What sport does your grade dominate in? Like, what would you say is the best sport that you guys will bring to CN next year?
Honestly, in my opinion, I think we kind of dominate in that basketball. Our basketball
so.
team is pretty
I
good.
was gonna say, I think
Boys and girls, or just boys?
Boys is solid.
Our
I'd
gr-
say our girls team is decent. They're not necessarily that top class like that team that went to state
Yeah.
a few years ago, but they'll bring some good players.
they're not bad. Our girls' team's not bad, but they'll bring some good players with them. They'll bring some shooters. But the boys' team, we have a good defense, like our press defense. We can handle the ball. We pass the ball well. We shoot a little bit. We kind of do a little bit of everything. I'm excited this year because we have Caden Clark as our new coach, so we'll see what we do this year.
Shout out Cato.
So hopefully we can do some more this year and win regionals.
I like it. All right, so I know I gave the questions to these guys ahead of time so they could think on it. I don't want to put them on the spot here, but I want to know the best athlete in your class. And I challenge you both to give me a different answer. Whoever wants to go first.
Go ahead, Jules.
Honestly, best athlete, we have a lot of great athletes within our school. And I mean, right now, Jayden's running on male athlete of the year 2 years in a row. While I got it 6th grade year, he got it last year, and we tied 6th grade. So I might just have to give it to him right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
I would
But
never do that for
Like
my
you said,
brother.
there's a lot of good athletes in our grade, so it's like a toss-up. And it all depends on like who's on a day, who's not. So it all just depends. But there's a competition for that for best athlete right now. But I don't really know who I would pick. But there's a good running, so we'll see what happens.
Jayden's going to be a
coming up.
politician because he did not answer me at all. That's fine. If you don't want to shout anybody out, that's cool. I get it.
Your brother gives you some props and you
right.
get none back.
Yeah,
That's
nothing.
crazy.
Okay, so my next question was going to be who's the better athlete between the two of you, but I think you answered that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
you
me.
just said him and he didn't say you.
That can be a toss-up.
Oh, okay. He's fighting back
okay,
now.
That one can be on the. That one can depend on
We'll
the day.
depend on the day. It depends on the day. Who's on, who's not.
Who's off.
Yeah. I'll say that one.
Fair.
That one depends on the day.
Okay, so we care about student athletes here.
Yes.
Who's the better student?
Right now is me, but it all depends on the.
It's not by much.
Not by much, but I have him in math right now, but I don't know. He may catch up a little bit. It all depends on the subject. I think I'm a little better at math than he is. He's got reading. He's a little better at reading.
Okay.
So,
Everything's a competition
Yeah.
between you
Oh,
two.
yeah,
I love it so
I can
much.
feel the competition.
Because he's
great.
good. Every time he goes, I don't know, and he's like, I am. I'm better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then when he says it, I love the reaction.
Yes.
So
he's
you're
like,
like,
no.
dang, I should answer different.
Exactly.
Okay,
Oh.
Dane, you want to do a quick MLB recap for us because we are running out of time. We got a couple minutes to wrap up.
Yes. So last night, Dodgers dominated again. I think that series is 2-1 now.
Yes.
Both teams played tonight, or both ALCS and NLCS is tonight. The Yankees are up on the Guardians 2-0, and I would really, really love to see the Guardians come and win a game because.
Sorry, buddy, that one's over.
Yeah.
Calling it.
Yeah.
But
They're.
okay, if the Yankees sweep, I think they're in trouble because that Dodgers Mets series is going to go to at least 6 games, I think.
Oh, you don't
And
want them to like sit. And
That
rest.
that sitting and waiting is not good for a team,
No.
especially this late in the postseason.
I've got Yankees. I've got Dodgers.
Yeah.
Both lineups are fantastic. I think the Dodgers, with only having 3 starting pitchers on their playoff roster, is going to hurt them. You can't just throw out a random junk bullpen game in the World Series. I've got
worked
the
so far.
Yankees.
I
I've got
don't
the
know.
Yankees winning, man.
I don't know. I think if the Dodgers make it, I think the Dodgers offense will kind of carry them a little bit if for them to beat the Yankees, because sometimes the
Gonna have
Yankees
to.
offense is here and there. So
True.
I mean, here's the thing about the Yankees, though. They have their 3 power hitters, and Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and Stanton. And not
Stanton
saying that
can't
3
run
guys
anymore,
can. Not saying that 3 guys can't make a difference.
Competition, man.
It's gonna be hard if you can shut down at least 1 or 2 of them. I think.
You know what? I think
Whoever
I've
they
changed
play
my
has
mind.
a good shot.
I've
And I
changed
think
my
the
mind.
Dodgers just have so many weapons in their offense
Otani, Betts.
that their offense will pick up their defense and pitching.
Okay, so the last thing I'll say here about this before we get done is I think that the Dodgers, even though they only have the 3 starting pitchers and they do the bullpen stuff, 4 of the last 5 games have been shutouts for the Dodgers. 4 of the last 5, they've given up 0 runs
and scored a lot too.
and scored a
Scored
ton.
a
So
ton.
I'm going to go Dodgers.
Yep.
Guys, we have to cut it short. We have an esports practice, an esports match. Stay tuned. We'll be on at around 5 o'clock with the Rocket League matchup versus Eureka. You can see Dane lead the Rocket team on their road to state. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.